Here are the 9 winners of the weakest link preparing for tonight's show. Only one of them will be champion of the series and win the prize money up to £100,000. The rest of them will leave with nothing, as round by round they are voted off as the weakest link.
Welcome to the championship edition of the weakest link. The 9 contestants in the studio here tonight are all winners of the weakest link. This time, if they work together, they can win a potential prize money of £100,000. They only just met, but they know only one will become champion and win the prize money tonight, and 8 of them will leave with nothing. As round by round we lose the player voted as the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
Hi, I'm Paul, I'm 21 years old, I'm a university student, and I was the winner of the first episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £3,800.
Hello, I'm Paige, I'm 24 years old, I'm a college student, and I was the winner of the second episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £3,600.
Hi, I'm Graham, I'm 54, I'm a college tutor, and I was the winner of the third episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £2,670.
Hello, I'm Mitchell, I'm 40, I'm a restaurant owner, and I was the winner of the fourth episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £5,020.
I'm Louise, I'm 35, I work at customer service, and I was the winner of the fifth episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £2,410.
Hello, I am Gabriel, I'm 20 years old, I'm a university student, and I was the winner of the sixth episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £2,400.
I'm Alan, I'm 60, I'm a butcher, and I was the winner of the seventh episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £4,380.
Hello, I'm Abraham, I'm 29, I'm an IT specialist, and I was the winner of the 8th episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £3,250.
Hi, I'm Vicky, I'm 39, I'm a health advisor, and I was the winner of the 9th episode of The Weakest Link, and I won £4,180.
Now the rules: in each round you have a target of £10,000. The aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £10,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way to get to your target is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong, you'll break the chain and lose all the money in that chain, but if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe, but you'll start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In round 1 there are 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. And that's you, Abraham. Let's play The Weakest Link. First question is for £200. Start the clock. Abraham, on a standard computer keyboard, which key is the longest?
Space bar.
Correct. Vicky. In which American state is Central Park located?
New York.
Correct. Paul. The 3 primary colors are known as blue, red, and which other?
Yellow.
Correct. Paige. In the nursery rhyme Jack and Jill, who fell down and broke his crown?
Jack.
Correct. Graham. In the 1960 film Psycho, the character portrayed by Anthony Perkins is Norman who?
Bates.
Correct. Mitchell. In music, the 2004 single by James Blunt is titled You're Ugly or Beautiful?
Beautiful.
Correct. Louise. How many months are in a year and a half?
18.
Correct. Gabriel. In which city in England would you find Waterloo Bridge and Vauxhall Bridge?
Is it London?
Correct. Alan. In marketing, the term used for a business that provides a steady profit or income is known as a cash what?
Cow.
Correct, Abraham.
Bank.
Alright team. You've reached and banked your £10,000 target in this painfully easy first round. That money will go through to the next round, but of course, one of you will not. Who is already starting to worry you? Who do you think can't be trusted in the later rounds to come? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In this very impressive first round, Abraham is the strongest link, since he banked the £10,000. Despite not getting a question wrong, Louise is the weakest link statistically. But who will be the first to go in this early stage of the game?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Mitchell.
Louise.
Gabriel.
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 Mitchell.
Gabriel.
Louise.
Gabriel.
Mitchell. So you're still owning your restaurant?
Yup, I most certainly am.
And is your restaurant doing well so far?
It sure is. In fact, I'm proud to say that business in my restaurant is booming, and it's even better than last year.
Really? What do you think is making the business in your restaurant better than last year? Better food, I assume?
Yeah, but the food was always good. I think the main reason why my restaurant is doing better is because thanks to the prize money that I won when I first appeared on the show, I've bought new kitchen appliances, and I have redecorated the restaurant, which now looks even better than before.
I see. And what did you do with the rest of your prize money?
I actually didn't have any money left over after decorating the restaurant and all the new equipment, so unfortunately I didn't have any money to spend on myself. Which is why I'm hoping I will win the prize money today, and I'm very confident that I will.
Well, Mitchell, we'll just have to wait and see about that. So Mitchell, why have you voted for Gabriel?
It was actually quite hard to choose, but I voted for Gabriel because I thought he was slightly hesitant on his question, and in my opinion it was easy, and he should have answered it quicker.
And I suppose you're just lightning fast when it comes to you answering questions. Alan, tell me, what did you spend your prize money on?
I spent my prize money on a holiday.
Where did you go on holiday?
I went to Spain in Barcelona with my wife and son.
And when did you go to Barcelona?
We went to Barcelona about 5 or 6 months ago after winning the prize money, and they were very excited after I announced that we were going on holiday.
And what did you do in Barcelona?
We stayed in Barcelona for a week in a 5-star hotel. We spent most of the days relaxing in the pool at the hotel, and we went sightseeing, going to restaurants, going to theme parks, and mainly just enjoying the sun.
It sounds like you guys had a good time.
Yeah, we did. The week just flew by, and we were sad to leave because we were enjoying the nice weather, but however we were glad to get back home again.
Alright. So Alan, why Gabriel?
Pretty much the same reason as Mitchell. He was a little hesitant on answering his question, and I do agree with Mitchell, the question was easy.
Fair enough, I guess. Well, Gabriel, it looks like they've already had enough of you, since apparently you were too hesitant on an easy question, which makes you the first person here to experience defeat on the show, and it's now time for you to go back to university. With 5 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I could completely understand that it would be difficult to vote for someone in this round, since everyone got their questions correct. But I guess I was hesitant on my question, and I was the most obvious person to vote off. But to be honest, I'm not too bothered about being voted off first since I still have some of my prize money left. It would be amusing to see Mitchell being voted off next, since he's a little overconfident and cocky.
Round 2. You've reached your target in the last round, so you have £10,000 in the bank so far. There are 8 of you left. We're cutting 10 seconds from the time. We'll start with the strongest link in the last round. And that's Abraham. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Abraham, in the phrase that means excessive or exaggerated, what does OTT stand for?
Over the top.
Correct, Vicky. Which planet in the solar system features rings around it?
Saturn.
Correct, Paul. Which sport is commonly known as ping pong?
Table tennis.
Correct, Paige. In the comedy cartoon The Simpsons, which character is known for playing the saxophone?
Lisa Simpson.
Correct, Graham. The British physicist and mathematician Sir Isaac Newton is famous for discovering what G?
Gravity.
Correct, Mitchell. Which William Shakespeare play was set in Scotland?
Tale of Two Cities.
No, Mitchell. The correct answer is Macbeth. Louise, in the animal kingdom, which term refers to a group of lions, pack, or pride?
Pride.
Correct, Alan. In maths, what is the square root of 16?
4.
Correct, Abraham. A sombrero is a type of hat that originated in which Central American country?
Mexico.
Correct, Vicky. In spelling, the words lamb and bomb end with what letter?
B.
Correct, Paul.
Bank.
What is the name of the fictional school in the Harry Potter film series?
Hogwarts.
Correct, Paige. In expressions, if something has a few imperfections, it's said to be rough around the what?
Edges.
Correct, Graham. Which field is the Grammys awarded?
Music.
Correct, Mitchell. In the board game Snakes and Ladders, if a player were to land on a snake, they have to move in which direction?
Upwards.
Even downwards.
Oh, for goodness sake, Mitchell.
Louise, in the Addams Family, the daughter shares her name with which day of the week?
Tuesday.
Nope, Wednesday. Alan, in a standard pack of playing cards, the 4 suits are diamonds, hearts, clubs, and which other? Correct, Abraham. What 1992 Disney movie features the village Afar?
Aladdin.
Correct, Vicky. What profession was Florence Nightingale during the Crimean War?
Nurse.
Correct, Paul.
Bank.
Which film starring Tom Cruise has the famous line, "Show me the money"?
Top Gun.
Nope, Jerry Maguire. Paige, in chess, the pieces that represent a horse's head are called what?
Knights.
Correct, Graham. Which rock band had a 1979 album called The Wall?
Pink Floyd.
Correct, Mitchell. Which British professional boxer is nicknamed the Haymaker?
David Haye.
Correct, Louise.
Bank.
In the book of Genesis, the first 2 sons of Adam and Eve was Cain and who? Time's up. The correct answer was Abel. And you are already falling apart, team. You could have won another £10,000, but instead you banked a mediocre £4,000. Whose performance is extremely disappointing? Who won the weakest link with pure luck, instead of knowledge? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In the second round, Abraham is the strongest link. The weakest link is Mitchell, since he got the most questions wrong. But who will be next to go?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Mitchell.
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 Paul.
Mitchell.
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 Paul? So you're still at university?
Yes, I am, but not for long though.
And why is that?
Because I'll be graduating university soon, since next year will be my final year, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
What are you going to do when you've eventually graduated university?
Well, since I was mainly focused on wildlife and biology at university, I'm planning on becoming a zoologist, since I'm an expert on animals.
Really? And what makes you so sure that you're an expert on animals? Do you know everything about them?
Yeah, pretty much. There's very little that I don't know about animals. I know all the behaviors and biological facts of nearly all animals. And that's why I'm pretty confident to say that I'm an expert with animals.
It's a shame that you're not such an expert with films, since you think that the famous line "Show me the money" is from Top Gun, instead of Jerry Maguire.
I'd never heard of Jerry Maguire. I thought it was Top Gun, because that's the only film that I could think of that has Tom Cruise in it.
He starred in quite a lot of famous films. It's surprising that you can only think of the one film he was in.
Like you said, I'm not such an expert on films, so I would rather stick to being an expert on animals.
I think you're better off doing that, to be honest. So Paul, why Mitchell?
Because I'm pretty sure he was the weakest link in this round, since he got 2 questions wrong, and they were not difficult. Especially the snakes and ladders question, which even a child would have answered it correctly.
Vicky, are you still enjoying your job as a health advisor?
Yes, I'm still enjoying my job.
And what do you think is so enjoyable about your job as a health advisor?
What I really enjoy about my job is giving people a brighter and healthier future, especially those who are desperate and unfortunate.
Would you say that everyone that you gave health advice has followed your advice successfully?
I would say that a good majority has indeed followed my advice successfully, but sometimes you come across people that struggle to take my advice. People who have really rough lives, and it's extremely difficult for them to change their ways.
I see. What would you do if you come across one of these people with difficulties?
I would make sure that they would stay positive and motivated into changing their ways, and I would give them extra support for them, and I would recommend them to go to therapy, and hopefully that will make them feel better about themselves.
But what if therapy doesn't work? What would you be doing to help them then?
Well, there is nothing much more I could do if therapy fails. All I can do is keep on encouraging them to change, and give them the support they need to cope.
Okay. So Vicky, why have you voted for Mitchell, the restaurant owner?
Because he was definitely the weakest link in this round, since he got 2 questions wrong, and I agree with Paul, his questions were very easy. And he thinks that A Tale of Two Cities is a William Shakespeare play set in Scotland, when it's a Charles Dickens novel. To be honest, I'm very surprised that he even won the weakest link before.
Well, after that performance, I'm very surprised too. Mitchell, the 40-year-old restaurant owner who thinks that A Tale of Two Cities is a William Shakespeare play set in Scotland, and also doesn't know the rules of the game Snakes and Ladders. How did you even get here to the championship episode of The Weakest Link? I don't know, but the one thing that I do know is that you will be not winning the prize money tonight, as the team has unanimously voted you off due to your embarrassing performance. It's time to go back to owning your restaurant. With 7 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I am extremely embarrassed and disappointed with myself. I guess that's what I get for being way too overly confident at the beginning. Then my mind went completely blank, and I am not surprised that I was voted off unanimously. The Snakes and Ladders question will haunt me for the rest of my life, and everyone will make fun of me for that when I go back home.
Round 3. You have in the kitty £14,000 out of a possible £20,000. 7 of you left. We're cutting another 10 seconds from the time. We'll start with the strongest link in the last round. And that's Abraham. Let's play. The weakest link. Start the clock. Abraham, in measurements, a gallon is equal to how many pints?
8.
Correct, Vicky. In chemistry, which element in the periodic table is represented by the letters OI?
Lithium.
Correct, Paul.
Bank.
What kind of mask does the killer Jason Voorhees wear in the Friday the 13th horror series?
Pass.
Hockey mask. Page, which American president was assassinated while attending at the theater?
Abraham Lincoln.
Correct, Graham. Who wrote the 1961 children's novel James and the Giant Peach?
Roald Dahl.
Correct, Louise. in history which battle between England and the Norman French happened on this 14th of October 1066?
War of the Roses?
Nope, the Battle of Hastings. Alan Nelson Mandela was sent to prison in which island?
Robben Island.
Correct, Abraham. What is the name of the disease better known as German measles?
Rubella.
Correct, Vicky. Someone who has a boring job typically in an office is described as being a pen what?
Pusher.
Correct, Paul. In the Mario video games, what is the name of Mario's brother?
Luigi.
Correct, Paige. If A is Alpha and Z is Zulu, what is B?
Bravo.
Correct, Graham.
Bank.
The Special Air Service has what motto?
Who dares wins.
Correct, Louise. What French term means good appetite in English?
Bon appetit.
Correct, Alan. Jasper and Jinx were the original names of what cartoon cat and mouse duo?
Is it Tom and Jerry?
Correct, Abraham. In a brass band, which musical instrument is the largest and has the lowest pitch?
Tuba.
Correct, Vicky. What animal is the national symbol of Canada?
Beaver.
Correct, Paul. Which Top Gear presenter was often called the hamster?
I have no idea.
Richard Hammond. Paige, Celsius, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin are units that measure what?
Temperature.
Correct, Graham.
Bank.
David, you played which detective in the 1980s TV show with the same name?
The Chinese detective.
Correct, Louise. In Norse mythology, Thor is known as the god of what?
War.
Nope, thunder. Alan, which Brothers Grimm fairy tale is about two children who discover a gingerbread house owned by a witch?
Hansel and Gretel.
Correct, Abraham.
Bank.
Time's up, your bank was out of time. So, after getting rid of Mitchell in the last round, amazingly, your performance is now getting worse. You banked £3,700, and would you like to know what else is disappointing? In this round you had a chain of 10 correct answers. So you could have reached the target if you banked intelligently. Who was just a complete waste of time for the team. Who is too insignificant to be here in the first place. There's a lot of money at stake tonight, so I urge you to get rid of the stupid. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In this round, Graham is the strongest link, since he answered all of his questions correctly, and banked £3,200 for the team. The weakest link is Louise, since she got 2 wrong answers, and banked no money. But has the team noticed that?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Louise.
Paul.
Louise.
Alan.
Paul.
Louise.
Paul.
We have a tie, Paul and Louise, 3 votes each. Paige. So you're still a college student.
Yep, I'm still at college.
And are you still enjoying college?
Yes, I'm very much still enjoying college, but I want to leave college soon, so I can look for a job.
How long are you planning to stay at college before you try and get a job?
Maybe for another year or 2, I just want to earn enough qualifications, so I can get a chance of getting a decently paid job.
Fair enough. What kind of job that you're hoping to get that's also well paid?
Well, since I was very good at science at college, I'm planning on getting a job as a scientist.
But what if you don't get enough qualifications to get a job as a scientist? What would you do then?
I would either look for a different job, or stay at college for a bit longer, so then I could get qualifications I need to get the job.
Good luck with that. So, Paige, why have you voted for Paul, the so-called animal expert?
I voted for Paul because he got 2 questions wrong, he made us lose a lot of money, and he left me with nothing to bank.
Okay. Abraham. Still enjoying your job as an IT specialist?
Yes, of course.
Did you do anything else before you became an IT specialist?
No, my job as an IT specialist was the very first job I ever had, and I'm going to stick with it as long as possible.
Okay then, despite enjoying working as an IT specialist, is there anything else that you enjoy?
Yes, I enjoy lots of things. I enjoy studying quiz books, learning new things, taking part in competitions, watching movies and documentaries, and listening to music.
What kind of music do you like?
I like all sorts of music, but my favorite is definitely classical. Composers like Antonio Vivaldi, Beethoven, Mozart, and Handel.
Is there any music that you don't like?
There's not much music that I don't like, but I don't particularly like rap music, especially rap music containing a lot of swearing. I'm just not into that genre, but I guess everyone has their own taste in music.
I guess so. So Abraham, why Louise?
Because I think she was the weakest link in this round. I'm pretty sure Paul banked money for the team, and Louise didn't bank anything, so that's why I think she was the worst player.
Well, when the vote is tied, the strongest link gets to cast the deciding vote. And the strongest link was Graham. Graham, you voted for Louise, but you now have a choice. You can change your mind and vote for Paul instead. Who are you going to kick off from the team?
I would like to stick with Louise.
Why?
Because I agree with Abraham. She was the weakest link, since she was worse than Paul, because Paul at least banked money in this round, so I think it would be fair if I voted off Louise.
Well, Paul indeed banked more money, so you are correct. She was the worst player in the round. Louise, who's 35 and works at customer service and doesn't know that Thor is the god of thunder. You didn't do very well in this round. You got 2 questions wrong, and you didn't bank enough money, so they've had enough of you. It's time for you to go back to working at customer service. With 3 votes, you're the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm very disappointed that I got voted off in this early stage of the game, and I'm also disappointed about how I performed. I did so much better the first time I appeared on the show. I really don't want Abraham to win the money, because he's an IT specialist, he earns enough money already, and he's a bit arrogant too.
Round 4. Out of the potential prize money of £30,000, you've put in the bank £17,700 so far. 6 of you left. We're cutting another 10 seconds from the time. You now only have 2.5 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link in the last round. And that's Graham. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Graham, which Nordic country had a volcanic eruption in the year 2010?
Iceland.
Correct, Alan. In which year of the 1970s did decimalization happen in the UK?
1971.
Correct, Abraham. In the human body, the luteinizing hormone is produced by which gland?
Pituitary gland.
Correct, Vicky. In the Charles Dickens novel Oliver Twist, what is the name of the dog owned by Bill Sikes?
Bullseye.
Correct, Paul. In 2008, Alexandra Burke was the winner of which reality singing contest?
American Idol?
Nope, the X Factor. Paige, what's the name of the French electronic duo who had a 2001 song titled Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger?
I don't know.
Daft Punk. Graham, in politics, what address does the Chancellor of the Exchequer live?
11 Downing Street.
Correct, Alan. What Australian island state has Hobart as its capital city?
Tasmania.
Correct, Abraham. Which sunken ship was discovered by American and French scientists?
Titanic.
Correct, Vicky.
Bank.
Which English soccer team is commonly referred as Wolves?
Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Correct, Paul. In maths, what 72 divided by 12?
7.
Nope, 6. Paige, which alcoholic spirit is traditionally made with juniper berries?
Gin.
Correct, Graham. In 1984, which comedian died live on stage at Her Majesty's Theatre?
Tommy Cooper.
Correct, Alan.
Bank.
Complete the title of the book written by John D. MacDonald. Darker Than What?
Amber.
Correct, Abraham. Which social media messaging site has a ghost and a yellow background as its logo?
Snapchat.
Correct, Vicky.
Bank.
What's the name of the Nickelodeon cartoon about a wallaby was created by Joe Murray?
Is it Rocco's Modern Life?
Correct, Paul. In Greek mythology, the multi-headed dog Cerberus is the hound of who?
Zeus?
Nope, Hades. Paige, in food, what exotic fruit has a spiky skin and known for its unpleasant smell when opened?
Durian fruit.
Correct, Graham. Alexander Fleming is well known for inventing a type of medicine.
Penicillin.
Correct, Alan.
Bank.
Time's up. Your bank was only just in time, and just as well too. Because you're still getting worse steam. You banked a very disappointing £2,500. Who is not meeting expectations? Who is outstaying their welcome, and should no longer continue? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
For the second time in the game, Graham is the strongest link, since he answered the most questions correctly. The weakest link is Paul. He didn't answer a single question correctly in this round. But whose game is over?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Paige.
Paul.
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 Graham. So are you still enjoying your job as a college tutor?
Yes, I'm still enjoying my job at the college.
Are you doing anything different in the college? Or are you still teaching the same subjects?
I'm still teaching mathematics and English. To be honest, nothing has changed much since the last time I was on the show.
Really? What about the prize money that you won last year? What did you do with that?
I haven't spent much of it, but I did get a brand new television for my living room, since my old one was broken.
What kind of television is it?
It's a Sony 55-inch 4K Ultra Smart HD TV. It was £1,500, but I got it on offer for £1,000.
I see. Was the television worth the money?
Definitely. The picture and sound quality is amazing, and I really like watching Netflix on it. I'm planning to get more things for my living room if I win the prize money in today's game.
Okay. So Graham, why do you want to get rid of Paul the animal expert?
I voted for Paul, because he didn't get a single correct answer in this round, which is the reason why we aren't reaching our target, and that's no good at all. I think it's time for him to go back home.
I think so too. Alan, why have you voted for Paul?
Because just like Graham said, Paul didn't get a single correct answer in this round, making him the weakest link, and he's preventing us from reaching our target.
Alright. And Vicky, why Paul?
Because I agree with Graham and Alan, he is the reason why we aren't reaching our target. Because he got all of his questions wrong in this round, and just like Graham said, it's time for him to go home, because he completely fell apart.
He sure did. Paul, the 21-year-old so-called animal expert. Your performance has been extremely disappointing. You've completely fallen apart and gotten all of your questions wrong. And you're preventing the team from reaching their target, which they all agree it's time for you to go home, and indeed it is. Unanimously with 5 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I am very embarrassed that I got all of my questions wrong in this round, and I really don't blame the team for voting me off. To be honest, they're much better than me anyway. I think that Paige will be voted up next. She is very knowledgeable, but I don't think she's as good as the rest of the team.
Round 5. You have in the bank £20,200 out of a possible £40,000. 5 of you left. We're cutting another 10 seconds from the time. We'll start with the strongest link in the last round. And that's Graham. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Graham, what P is a term for someone who has mastered speaking in multiple languages?
Polyglot.
Correct, Alan. Which actor plays Warden Norton in the film The Shawshank Redemption?
Is it Robert Gunton?
Bob Gunton, but I'll accept Robert Gunton. Abraham, what is the scientific study of prehistoric life called?
Paleontology.
Correct, Vicky. According to the proverb, what is the sincerest form of flattery?
Invitation.
Correct, Paige.
Bank.
In history, who was the first wife of Henry VIII?
Catherine of Aragon.
Correct, Graham. In which English county will you find Donington Park Racing Circuit?
Leicestershire.
Correct, Alan. Who led the Romanian Communist Party from 1965 till his execution in 1989?
Nicolae Ceausescu.
Correct, Abraham. What's the name of the woman who was the first ever person to win £1 million and who wants to be a millionaire?
Judith Keppel.
Correct, Vicky. In chemistry, ammonia gas is a compound of one nitrogen atom and three atoms of which other element?
Hydrogen.
Correct, Paige. Which Italian car manufacturer produced the Diablo, the Gallardo, and the Aventador?
Ferrari.
No, Lamborghini. Graham, the Miami Dolphins is a team that plays for which sport?
American football.
Correct, Alan.
Bank.
What device used for catching a household pest shares its name with an Agatha Christie play?
Mousetrap.
Correct, Abraham. How many years of marriage does a Ruby anniversary celebrate?
40.
Correct, Vicky. In the 1930s, which Asian country did the Long March take place?
China.
Correct, Paige. The character James Herriot, who is a veterinarian surgeon, is from which television program?
All creatures great and small.
Correct, Graham. What term is used for someone who has an extreme fear of thunder and light?
Astrophobia.
Correct, Alan.
Bank.
Time's up. You did better in this round, team. You only got one question wrong, but somehow you're still not reaching your £10,000 target. You banked £5,200. Who's struggling to keep up with the team? Who's just not good enough to continue? Who will be next to experience defeat on the weakest link? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
For the third time in a row, Graham is the strongest link. The weakest link is Paige, since she was the only one to get a question wrong, but she did bank £2,000 for the team. Will that be enough to save her?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Vicky.
Page.
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 Alan. Why have you voted for Paige?
Because she was the only one who got a question wrong, and she lost a lot of money because of that.
But weren't you aware that she did bank some money in this round though?
Yes, I was, but I think she lost more money than she banked, and we would have definitely won a lot more money if she didn't get the question wrong.
Very true. Vicky. Why have you voted for Paige?
In my opinion, I think she did very well overall in the game tonight, but unfortunately she was unlucky in this round, as she was the only one to get a wrong answer, despite banking money. Sorry Paige, but I wish you luck with your qualifications.
Alright. And Abraham. Why Paige? Had enough of her?
Not at all. I agree with Vicky. She did reasonably well in tonight's game. It's just she was very unlucky to get a question she didn't know, making her the weakest link, because the rest of us answered all our questions correctly. I also wish you luck, Paige, but unfortunately it's time for you to go.
That's fair enough. Paige. The 24-year-old college student. You did quite well in the game tonight. Overall, you only got 2 questions wrong. But I'm afraid you're not good enough to keep up with the rest of the team, because despite banking £2,000, you were the only one to get a question wrong, making you the worst player in the round. It's time to go back to working on your qualifications in college. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm very disappointed to be voted off, because I really wanted to be champion of the weakest link, but it was fair to vote me off, since I was the only person to get a question wrong in this round. I don't know who will win, but I would like Vicky to win, because she's a very nice person, she deserves the money, and I wish her luck with the rest of the game.
Round 6. By now, if you've reached your targets, you could have won £50,000. But instead you only have in the bank $25,400. 4 of you left. We're cutting another 10 seconds from the time. We'll start with the strongest link in the last round. And that's Graham. Let's play. The weakest link. Start the clock. Graham Martin Kemp, who's known for playing Steve Owen in EastEnders, was also a member of which band?
Spandau Ballet.
Correct, Alan. What is the middle name of the 35th President John F. Kennedy?
Fitzgerald.
Correct, Abraham. Which order of mammals has a name meaning 9 in Latin?
Can you repeat the question?
Which order of mammals has a name meaning 9 in Latin?
Rodents.
Correct, Vicky. What palace was destroyed by a fire on November 1936?
The Crystal Palace.
Correct, Graham. In the film 2001: A Space Odyssey, who voices HAL 9000?
Douglas Rain.
Correct, Alan. In pottery, what are the tiny cracks to the glaze called?
Crazy.
Correct, Abraham. In rugby union, if a player receives a yellow card, how many minutes are they sent off?
10.
Correct, Vicky.
Bang.
What star sign will someone born on Christmas Day have?
Sagittarius.
Nope, Capricorn. Graham, in which fighting video game series do competitors compete in the King of Iron Fist tournament?
I don't know.
Tekken. Alan, what 1993 event was a conflict between the FBI and cult leader David Koresh?
The Waco Siege.
Correct, Abraham.
Bang.
In classical music, which violinist composed the Four Seasons?
Antonio Vivaldi.
Correct, Vicky. The American artist Andy Warhol was most famous for being a part of which art movement?
Pop art.
Correct, Graham. The 1899 poem The White Man's Burden about the Philippine and American War was written by who?
Rudyard Kipling.
Correct, Alan. How many hours are in 11 days?
264.
Correct, Abraham. What was the currency of Portugal before they changed to the euro?
The Portuguese escudo.
Correct, Vicky.
Bang.
Which 1987 supernatural horror movie do creatures called Cenobites appear?
Hellraiser.
Correct, Graham.
Bang.
In ice hockey, who was the first ever? Time's up. I cannot complete the question. You did quite well in this round, team. You were close to your £10,000 target. You banked £9,400. But who's starting to deteriorate? Who has reached their peak, and going on a downhill spiral? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In this impressive round, Abraham is the strongest link, since he answered all of his questions correctly, and banked money for the team. For a complete reversal of fortune, Graham was the strongest link 3 rounds in a row, but now the weakest in this. Will his previous performance save him from the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Vicky.
Vicky.
Graham.
Graham.
We have another tie. Graham and Vicky, 2 votes each. Vicky, why have you voted for Graham?
I knew I got a question wrong, but I can't vote for myself, so I had no choice to vote for Graham, since he was the only one out of Alan and Abraham to get a question wrong.
Alright. Graham, Why did you vote for Vicky?
I did indeed get a question wrong in this round, which I'm very annoyed at myself for doing so. But I did vote it for Vicky, because as she said she also got a question wrong, and she was a little hesitant. In my opinion, I think she's getting a little nervous.
Okay. And Alan. Why Vicky?
Even though Vicky banked a lot of money in this round, I agree with Graham, she was hesitant. I also think she's getting nervous, and I think Graham has been stronger than Vicky overall in the game.
Well, the strongest link in this round was Abraham, so he gets to decide who goes home. Abraham. Stick with Graham or change your mind and vote for Vicky. What's your decision?
I'm going to be 100% fair and honest. So I'm going to stick with Graham.
Why?
I just think it wouldn't be right if I were to change my mind and vote for Vicky, when she banked £9,000 in this round, and I believe Graham was the weakest link, because Vicky banked a lot more money than him. I'm sorry Graham, you are a very good contestant, but you were weaker than Vicky in this round.
You have indeed made a fair decision. Vicky did indeed bank £9,000 in this round, making Graham the worst player. Graham, the 54-year-old college tuner. There's no denying that you did well in tonight's game. You only got one question wrong in the whole game, and you were the strongest link 3 times in a row. But it looks like you got unlucky with that one question you didn't know, and Vicky banking more money than you. I guess it's time for you to go back to being a college tuner. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm extremely annoyed at myself for getting that question wrong, because I have played a lot of video games in my lifetime, and should have known the answer was Tekken, and due to that I have now blown my chances of winning the prize money. They are all very good players, but I think Vicky will be next to be voted off, because I don't think she'll keep up with Alan and Abraham.
Round 7. You have in the kitty £34,800 out of a possible £60,000. There are now only 3 of you left. And we still have Alan Mack the Butcher winner of Episode 7, Abraham Turner the IT Specialist winner of Episode 8 and Vicky Palmer the Health Advisor winner of Episode 9, in ascending order too. What a coincidence. We're cutting another 10 seconds from the time. We'll start with the strongest link in the last round. And that's Abraham. Let's play. The weakest link. Start the clock. Abraham, in which country was the 2004 Summer Olympic Games held?
Greece.
Correct, Vicky. The Ada Grant is the holy book of which religion?
Sikhism.
Correct, Alan. In the Mr. Man books, which character wears a top hat and a monocle?
Mr. Apathy.
Correct, Abraham. Which wrestling commentator is nicknamed the King?
Jerry Lawler.
Correct, Vicky.
Bank.
Which 1986 Pixar animated short is about 2 desk lamps?
Pass.
Luxo Jr. Alan, which song by Squeeze begins with the line "The Indians send signals from the rocks above the pass"?
At the junction.
Nope, Cool for Cats. Abraham, in geography, what is the longest river in West Africa?
The Niger River.
Correct, Vicky. What nationality was Robert Bunsen who made the Bunsen burner?
German.
Correct, Alan. What P is a word used for another term for stamp collecting?
Philately.
Correct, Abraham. Who played Steve Rhodes in the sitcom Married with Children?
David Garrison.
Correct, Vicky. Complete the title of this Arthur Miller play. Death of a what?
Salesman.
Correct, Alan. Which champion racehorse foaled in 1965 won the Grand National 3 times?
Red Rum.
Correct, Abraham.
Bank.
In maths, what's 532 times 5?
2,660.
Correct, Vicky.
Bank.
What American nu metal band has the lead singer Jonathan Davis?
I don't know.
Korn. Alan, which children's author wrote the series of books called The Famous Five?
Enid Blyton.
Correct, Abraham. In a radio, what does AM stand for?
Amplitude modulation.
Correct, Vicky.
Bank.
Who briefly married the comedian Russell? Time's up. I cannot complete the question. Disappointingly, your performance wasn't as good as the last round. You banked £7,200. Now what's really interesting? In round 8 you get the chance to treble what you bank. So you can potentially win £30,000 in the next round. But who won't help you reach the potential jackpot? Who should not join you into the final? I urge all three of you to have the decency, honesty, and bravery to vote off the weakest link.
In this crucial stage of the game, Abraham is the strongest link, since he was the only one to answer all of his questions correctly and banked £4,500. The weakest link is Vicky, since she got the most questions wrong, but she did bank £2,700 for the team. But which of these winners will lose out in the final vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Vicky.
Vicky.
Alan.
Alan. Why have you voted for Vicky?
Because I'm pretty sure she was the weakest link in this round, as she got one more wrong than I did, and I knew Abraham was the strongest link, since he didn't get any questions wrong.
So you decided to be a little braver than when you first appeared on the show?
Yes, absolutely. I know Abraham hasn't got a single wrong answer in the game so far, and it wouldn't be fair if I were to vote him off tactically. To be honest, the reason why I voted Brian off tactically because he was arrogant and I didn't want to lose to him, but I don't mind losing to Abraham because he's not arrogant and like Brian.
Fair enough. And finally, Abraham. Why Vicky?
I agree with Alan. She was the weakest link, and she got 2 questions wrong despite banking a good amount of money, and Alan only got 1 wrong, making Alan a stronger player. Sorry Vicky, but I'm a fair and honest voter. You've been good in the game, but it's time for you to go.
That's fair enough. Vicky, the 49-year-old health advisor. You've made a good showing in tonight's game, but let's be honest, you're not as good as Alan and Abraham, and they decided to be fair and vote off the worst player, which unfortunately was you. It's time for you to go back to giving people health advice. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, I gave it my very best shot tonight, but unfortunately it wasn't enough, and I can accept being voted off because I was indeed the worst player in the round, and I've enjoyed my time on the weakest link again. They are both such great contestants and I wish them luck, but in my opinion I think Abraham will win, because his knowledge is absolutely amazing, and he deserves the prize money.
Round 8. You have in the bank £42,000 out of a possible £70,000. Alan and Abraham, just the 2 of you left. Normally in round 8 you would have 90 seconds to reach your target, but since this is the championship edition, and there's £30,000 at stake, you now only have just 70 seconds on the clock, and the questions will come quicker. Good luck. We'll start with the strongest link in the last round. And that's Abraham. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Abraham in chemistry. What highly radioactive element has the atomic number 87?
Francium.
Correct. Alan. Which legendary country music singer had a backing band called the Drifting Cowboys?
I don't know.
Hank Williams. Abraham. Which Windows operating system released in 2001 ended its support in 2014?
Windows XP.
Correct. Alan. What 1960s children's TV program features Parsley the Lion?
The Herbs.
Correct. Abraham. What agency was J. Edgar Hoover the director of in 1924?
The FBI.
Correct. Alan. In sport, which Welsh darts player was the first world champion in 1978?
Leighton Rees.
Correct. Abraham. Which James Bond film starring Pierce Brosnan shares its name with a type of gun?
GoldenEye.
Correct. Alan. In electronics, what does LED stand for?
Light emitting diode.
Correct. Abraham. Which Scottish novelist and poet wrote Ivanhoe Rob Roy and the Lady of the Lake?
Sir Walter Scott.
Correct, Alan. According to the proverb, what begins at home?
Charity.
Correct, Abraham. Which North Korean leader who died in 1994 is the grandfather of the current leader Kim Jong-un?
Kim Il-sung.
Correct, Alan.
Bank.
Wow. Very impressive. Well done. You've unbelievably reached and banked your £10,000 target in this round. We'll treble that and add that to your total winnings of tonight. So that makes a grand total prize money tonight of £72,000. And I'll tell you this, both of you have done incredibly well tonight. You both are worthy contestants in tonight's final. However, there can only be one winner. You'll now play against each other head-to-head a last call alternating questions best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins the prize money, and is the champion of the series. It's as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5 we'll go to sudden death until we have a winner. So Alan and Abraham, for £72,000. Let's play the weakest link. Abraham, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice to who goes first.
I would like Alan to go first.
Alan, which English artist created an art sculpture in 1991 of a tiger shark and has the title, "The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living"?
Damien Hirst.
That's the correct answer. Abraham, in UK politics, who was the Speaker of the House of Commons in 2009 until he resigned in 2019?
John Bercow.
That's the correct answer. Alan, the viral video titled "Me at the Zoo" is said to be the first ever video uploaded on what online video sharing platform?
Is it YouTube?
That's the correct answer. Abraham, in the film Point Break, the main character, played by Keanu Reeves, shares his last name with which American state?
Utah.
That's the correct answer. Alan, what year is represented as MCMXCVIII in Roman numerals?
Can you repeat the letters?
Sure. M, C, M, X, C, V, I.
1998.
That's the correct answer. Abraham, what is the name of the indoor amusement park located in Edmonton, Canada? Has an indoor roller coaster called the Mindbender had a tragic accident in 1986?
Galaxyland.
Yes. Fantasyland or Galaxyland, I'll accept. So far you are both level. Alan, to take the lead, what type of tree is featured on the national flag of Lebanon?
Cedar tree.
That's the correct answer. Abraham, the comedy rock duo Tenacious D, formed by Jack Black and Kyle Gass, had a movie in 2006 with what title?
I give up. I don't know.
The correct answer is The Pick of Destiny. Alan, if you answer this question correctly, you have won. So for the championship of the series, and for £72,000 in the soap opera Coronation Street, which villainous character famously kidnapped the Platt family and tried to drown them in the canal?
That would be Richard Hillman.
That's the correct answer.
Yes.
That means Alan Mack, you are tonight's strongest link and champion of this series of the weakest link, and you go away with £72,000. What are you planning to do with the money?
I'm going to buy a new car, give some of it to charity, and give the rest of it to my family.
Nice. Abraham, you've played an excellent game tonight. But alas, you leave with nothing. You have been watching The Weakest Link. Join us again next time. Goodbye.
I really honestly can't believe that I'm the champion of the weakest link, and I won all that prize money.
I'm very disappointed. I should have went first instead of Alan. But oh well, he won fair and square, and he did well banking a lot of money in the game.
I was actually very nervous facing Abraham in the final since he was brilliant. But I defeated him, making me the champion.